You will be flying now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you for coming back so promptly. That indication there was not enough protection as a Are you enjoying the workshop so far? Yes. What's the one key message you've got so far? How's the story? Storytelling. So every salesperson knows that the customer is not buying the product, they're buying the salesperson, not the product. What do we get out of this session so far? Anyone? Peter, you've been memorable. Well done. In the second half, you'll learn about how to present to your audience, how to connect with your audience using your emotions, your voice, your body, and how to be persuasive and influence. Does that sound fun? I first went to a public speaking workshop, not dissimilar to this one. Maybe the room was a bit smaller and there were fewer people in the room. It cost $700. It was about 10 years ago. I went to my first public speaking class. Right after I found out that I'm really bad at presenting at work. I need to do something about it. And I loved the first half of the workshop. I was sitting there taking notes, learning everything. I was really enjoying the first half. The presenter was engaging. He was telling us stories. We were learning more. And then he said, I need a volunteer to stand up here with me and help me demonstrate something. Could you please do it, Tom? And I went, is there another Tom behind me? Another Tom behind me? No, he's looking straight at me. It's me. If you get to know me, you probably think that I am an extrovert. But if you really get to know me, or if you meet me at a party, you realize that I'm an introvert. Any introverts in the room? Then I'm willing to admit it. I'm just going to go by Allah. The thing about being an introvert is when somebody told you, Tom, next week you'll be presenting to 150 people. You're going to stand there for half an hour and you'll be talking about your expertise. As introverts, we can do it. If we're told to do something, we'll do it. We'll prepare for it. We'll grit our teeth. It's going to be hard. We'll do it. What we really don't like, right? What we really don't like is come up with one. I was made look like a fool that day. I can't even remember at the moment. It was such a long time ago, and I had tried to erase the event out of my mind. What the question was that I had to help people. He said, ask something like, please tell me about something exciting in your life. Fortunately, somebody recorded it. I watched it once and deleted it. I really wanted to get it out of my mind. But the question was something like this. I answered it something like this. I like playing computer games. My favorite game is Civilization. I sometimes play up to midnight, maybe longer, and I really like it. I said that. That was how I responded. Why? Introverts in this room will know why. Extroverts will go, what? Why? And somebody already mentioned this today. VJ mentioned this. Fear. Right? We have a fear. Somebody already told the anecdote about the funeral. Where's the best place to get a funeral? In the casket. We have a fear. But what is it that we fear? I mean, this is not sharks. People aren't going to eat me. I hope. What's the worst that can happen? They won't listen to me, they won't like me. But that's not what an introvert feels, right? Our entire life hangs in the balance. What if they don't like me? What if they find me boring? I've got this paralyzing fear, I cannot control it. When I watched that video, I found out who made a fool of who. And you know who made the fool of me? I did. I made a fool of myself. Because I thought, the less I say, the less I move, the less I connect with the audience, the less of a chance they'll judge me. The less there is a risk they will think poorly of me. But it turns out, because I did not play along with what I was supposed to do, that's what made me look poor. That's what made me look like a fool. That's what made people judge me. So now, I don't want to make a fool out of anyone. So I won't name any names, but I'm asking for a volunteer. We've got one. We've got one. Aaron, come on up front. Thank you, Aaron. Give him a hand. Come on, start. Have you done this?
No.
I always come up as an extrovert, that's because it's the things you do, right?
I'm introverted, but I choose to be introverted. I tend to prefer introverted.
It's hard.
I think it's, I don't feel like I can really connect as an introvert. I feel like it's connected as an introvert.
I want you now to think to yourself for about a minute or two, and you go along with this and think for yourself. Something exciting that happened in your life in the last week or so, or maybe something exciting that you do on a regular basis, like a hobby, your skydiver by chance. Any skydiving? Think of something exciting, something you love doing, something you're passionate about that you love to tell everybody about.
Okay. I was
Think about it.
All right.
Don't tell everybody about this yet. You stand and think, well, I tell everybody about skydiving. So the thing was to talk about skydiving is the way I did talk about computer games. Skydiving is really fun. It's not dangerous, you might think everybody's not. I do it every Saturday. I love it. You should try it. Do you like skydiving? Do you like skydiving? Did I entice you to try skydiving? Wow, I didn't realize I had so much power of persuasion. But what is it? Skydiving is so much fun. Look, I know you think it's risky, but the fact is, it's the risk that makes it fun. That thrill you get when you're standing on the edge of the plane and you look outside and you can see tiny houses and tiny little cars, and you think to yourself, yes, I can do it, and then jump. Oh, it's amazing. If you've never done it, try it. Is that more convincing? Why? Passion. I'm adding my passion, my emotions into my voice and into my body. And so now Aaron's going to do the same. About his chosen passionate topic. Let's hear it for Aaron.
Right, so I have a son. He's a little bit autistic. I want to connect with him on the. So one of the things that he absolutely is passionate about is Yu-Gi-Oh! And I thought I'd give it a go. I did have a game with him. And I sat down with him and he puts all these cards out, and apparently he's got like these mats that he put in front of you. And at the time I found it really confusing, and he just knows the game inside out, and he's like, oh, you've got to use this card and this card and this card, and this card will stop that card, and this card will. Anyway, it's all over the cards. I didn't have a clue what these cards were about. I was like, oh. So I really failed in my first game with my son. It wasn't an easy game to So I started asking questions. I started learning. The thing is, every time I wanted to learn about it, I didn't want to. It was the hardest thing in the world. It was like this, like a university. I'm forcing myself to do this. I just didn't want to have anything to do with it. But I just brought myself back to it, like I give myself a break. I come back to it in about 10 minutes. Then I just kept back to it. And after a while, I started making sense of it. And at one point, it just got to me so much, I just had to have enough and reset myself. So there was an app that I could use to help me learn this game. So I went in there and I started progressing through the things. And at first I found it confronting. Then I started learning that there's 3 different types of cards that make it more simple. It's like a, I can't remember right now, my mind's blank. But I started starting to make sense of the game. And then this morning I had a game with myself. Lasted for 45 minutes, but I found it a whole lot more exciting. It wasn't as bad as what I initially thought it was. And as I played the game, I was asking him questions, and he said, okay, we're going to turn this into a learning game. So, thank you. So he helped me. So I had a great game with you.
I see that Aaron learned a lot from the storytelling workshop we had. Well done. When we tell stories that are important to us, stories that we feel emotional about, the best way to get that across to our listeners is if we imbue that story with our own emotion. So I want you to, as you're listening to the rest of the workshops today, and perhaps do ever visit Toastmasters Club, think about how you can imbue that story with your positive emotions as well as your feelings. So I've been here talking about all the excitement and positivity and excitement, but stories aren't always exciting. Stories can also be somber. They can also be deep and sometimes even scary. If I was to talk about a scary story, the way I was just talking about an exciting story, you would connect with it. Have you heard that saying that only 30% of verbal communication is through the use of words? Not nobody's heard that one? One person has. There was an old study done in America that says 30% of our verbal communication is done with words. The rest is with our voice and with our body. While that study has been misinterpreted a few times, the truth is, if your words don't match, if your actions, if your body and your voice don't match your words, people will not believe you. Because they look at your voice, you're telling them, so they look at your words and you're saying you're excited, you're saying in this kind of voice, they don't believe you. Or if you're really sad about something and you use this kind of voice, they also won't. So it's important that your emotions match your voice. I would like now one more volunteer who's willing to go the extra mile and really put themselves out and risk being made fun of. And really tell us a short 2-minute story with a lot of emotion, a lot of excitement. Do I have a volunteer? No? Oh, let me pick a hat out of a name out of a hat. Right? Charles! Charles! I like you. Charles is an amateur comedian, right? At least I try to make him He's an accountant, you see. So Charles is now going to tell us a story in 2 or 3 minutes, but Charles is going to go overboard. He's going to exaggerate his body movements. He's going to exaggerate his vocal variety to demonstrate how he can match his emotions to what he's saying. Charles Fisher.
Does anyone remember a film called Ghost? Ghost had Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze. And the last scene of this film is just brought a tear to my eye. It brought a tear to your eye if you've actually seen this film. And it's where Demi Moore, the actress, can't remember exactly her name in the film, but she can see and hear the love of her life. I think his name is Sam, Patrick Swayze. And Sam is about to go home. He's about to go back to heaven. The unresolved issue of him being a ghost has been resolved. And she reaches out to him and he says to her, I love you, Sam. She says, I love you too. And the tears are rolling down her cheeks. It's awful because she can see him and they meet to try and kiss, but they can't because there's no physical contact. It's really sad. In fact, I just watched it on YouTube a few days ago and I had tears in my eyes. And for those of you who are Toastmasters, this is exactly what it's like to be a judge in an online Zoom Toastmasters contest. No one can see you. No one can hear you. You're a complete nobody. And people will talk about you. Oh, there's Charles in this meeting. Where is he? You know what he's doing? And he's right next to you virtually. And that's what it's like. It's like an emotional event. And I can see that you share my feelings of emotion at this event. Is that enough?
your speech structure, the stories you tell, and the emotions you put into your stories will be what's connected with the audience, will be what's remembered